Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the, what's today? 27th. I never know the date. 27th of August 2020. Sorry, I was fixing the camera. It was all set, and then when I switched it back over, it popped it back to the other settings. Anyways, we're here on the 27th of August to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. Tonight's show was a pretty good show. I wouldn't call it a great show or anything, but I would call it pretty newsworthy in regards to the upcoming All Out pay-per-view. We learned a lot for All Out that comes to us, I want to say, a week from Saturday. Wasn't sure if it was 1 or 2 weeks. It's a week from Saturday. JR kept just saying, Saturday. All Out is Saturday. He said it like 3 times. But hey, it's Jim Ross. In his old age, we gotta just give him the benefit of the doubt. Or somebody, forget who it was, or somebody's name he said, and Jericho had to correct him. Oh, he said, oh look, it's Evil Ono of the Dark Order. And Jericho goes, no, it's Uno. I don't think he's related to Sonny Ono. I thought that was a funny one. But with that, we've got AEW Dynamite to talk about tonight. Again, I pretty much thought the show was pretty good, not great. You guys are going to ask. I know you are. You're going to say, hey, what did you like better? This or NXT? NXT. But, this was a pretty newsworthy show. With that, I want to thank everybody who's joining me here tonight on twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. If you want to support us here on Twitch, you can do so a couple of different ways. You can either donate some bits or subscribe to our channel. Subscribing is the best way to support us, either with a Tier 1 subscription or with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have what is now called Prime Gaming. With that, you can subscribe to us for absolutely free because you already pay that $12 a month for Amazon Prime, so why not support us if it's not going to cost you anything? If you're already paying Amazon, why not use that one free subscription a month they give you to support us here, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Also, if you guys want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in your thoughts on tonight's AEW Dynamite to 510-906-1341. The number is in the chat, and it scrolls across the screen periodically. Right there. Scrolls throughout the show as well across the screen if you do forget the number. But all you got to do is text in to 510-906-1341. So Dynamite kicks off with the Gauntlet match. And the match starts, and we've already got the Young Bucks, and we've already got the Natural Nightmares in the ring. If you want to see their entrances, AEW posted them on Twitter. I don't know exactly what happened here, if they were strapped for time when they timed out the show or something, but they didn't get their entrances. And it's not that big of a deal, so it's all good. These guys worked really well together. Dustin always works really well with the Young Bucks. QT Marshall works good with just about anybody. And both teams hit their signature spots early. The Natural Nightmares really didn't have too much of a shot against the Young Bucks, though. Dustin did hit a Destroyer and a Power Slam on both Bucks. QT tried the QT Special on the Bucks, but missed and got cut off. Marshall tried a cutter, but got shoved into a high kick from Nick. The Bucks hit tandem super kicks and a BTE trigger to pick up the victory. Next up would come the Best Friends. We got Best Friends and Bucks. These guys also worked really well together. Both teams hit signature spots. Trent took a German on the apron. Best Friends hit their Soul Food half and half suplex combo. Chuck Taylor sold his knee after some kicks from Nick. Nick hit a springboard facebuster on Chuck. Trent hit Nick with a spear on the floor. Both friends got the best friends, not both friends, best friends got the heat on Nick which is a change because usually the Bucks don't take the heat. And it's usually Matt that does all the selling. And speaking of Matt Jackson, he might have some heat with his wife because she didn't know that he was shaving his face. All he's got are the mutton chops again. Just the big old burns. He shaved all of this off. And she tweeted out and was just like, hold on, I want to find this. This is pretty funny. Dana Massey. She tweeted out. I'll pull it up on screen because I found this a little funny. Right here. She said, "What happened to Matt's face, though? It's so bare." I thought that was actually pretty funny that she would tweet that out. Whoops. Go back to the match. Matt got a hot tag and hit a rolling Northern Lights suplex. He hit that on Trent, and Nick tagged back in for some strikes before getting cut off. Best friends tried the strong zero, and Matt saved Nick before they could hit it. Nick then hit a 450 to Trent as he was draped on the ropes, and Matt covered him for a 2. The Bucks went for the Meltzer driver, and Hangman would come out and grab the leg of Nick Jackson. He was holding him up on the apron, and then Trent sat down and cradled Matt. Hangman screwed the Young Bucks. Now, if you didn't see last week's show, here's what you got to remember. Here's what you got to know. FTR got into Hangman's head. Basically, they were like, you faced the Bucks before and barely beat them. If you can't beat them at All Out, you lose those tag titles and you just go back to being a guy on the roster. You're no longer anybody special. They got into Hangman's head. So Hangman thought, well, I got to screw the Bucks. The Bucks can't challenge us because he knows the Bucks would be a hard team to beat. Next up would be FTR. They took on Best Friends. FTR attacked Best Friends before the bell even rang and worked them over through a commercial break. Chuck got a couple of hope spots and cradled Dax for a near fall. Cash then hit a suplex on Trent on the floor and essentially turned it into a handicap match. Chuck sold some damage from the first match. He was still selling the leg, and FTR posted it. Dax then used an inverted figure 4 knee bar and an ankle lock to make Chuck Taylor tap out and pick up the victory. So with that, we do see FTR winning the Gauntlet match, and they now move on to All Out to challenge Kenny Omega and Hangman Page for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Next up, after a commercial break, Darby Allin hype video. He wore a Ricky Starks mask and jumped off a suspension bridge into a body of water. Yeah, the man's just nuts. It was then announced that the Casino Battle Royal, or Battle Royale as they call it, will be coming back at All Out. This one will be for the men. And we do know that 2 of the men in the match will be Darby Allin and Lance Archer. Gabriel in the chat says, wait. Bucks won't appear at All Out. They're probably going to end up facing in a random tag team match. This doesn't make any sense to me. We'll talk about it later. Probably just going to end up facing Jurassic Express in a tag match. Also, Gabriel asked, Cody out of All Out? Yes. From what I've heard, yes, because I believe Cody is out filming a TV show or getting ready to film a TV show. Stephen Amell of Arrow, who is, we all know, friends with Cody, has got a new show in the works that's about pro wrestling with Stars, which I don't remember the last time anybody told me to watch something on Stars. I don't know even what airs on Stars other than old movies and random movies. But anyways, he's producing a show for Stars. He's going to star in the show for Stars with Mandy McCormick, I think her name is. Anyways, he wants Cody to be in the show, on the show. So they're starting filming in, I want to say Atlanta, where Cody lives, so it's convenient for him. Dan the Man says, our AEW All Out predictions. Well, I can't do predictions till next week after the full lineup is announced, because there's probably going to be more matches announced. So not tonight predictions, but after next Wednesday's review, we will be doing predictions. So we learned that both Darby Allin and Lance Archer will be in the 21-man Casino Battle Royale. The winner, of course, gets a title shot at a future date with the AEW World Champion. We then see Lance Archer defeat Sean Maluta. Some of you may remember Sean Maluta from his WWE and more specifically 205 Live days. He is the nephew of Alpha, so that makes him a direct cousin of Roman Reigns. I know that whole family line is, that whole family timeline or tree, a little confusing, but I believe he is a direct cousin of Roman Reigns. Archer basically squashed him, beat him with the blackout and the EBD claw. They then tell us after the break, we will hear from Lance Archer. I get this written wrong. Jake Roberts and Lance Archer. We come back from commercial, and I guess Jake had already started his promo early or something, and then he stopped himself. He said that only one man can win the Battle Royale, the man with only one blemish on his record. This man has only lost one time, and it's, well, Lance Archer. Roberts interviewed Archer, who said he'll win the Battle Royale before Taz would make his way out with, I guess they're now called Team Taz, Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. For some reason, I don't know why, freaking Jake Roberts starts going, look, it's the Flintstones. It's the Flintstones. Look, it's the Flintstones. It's the Flintstones. He looks at Cage and goes, it's Fred. He looks at Starks, it's Barney. He then looks at Taz and goes, it's Wilma. What? Taz kept trying to cut him off, and he just kept going, it's the Flintstones. And Taz's like, all right, enough. He's like, your guy's not going to win this battle royal. It's going to be one of my men in Team Taz, and I don't care which one it is, it's going to be one of them. And then see Darby Allin come down on a skateboard. He jumps in the ring, gives a drop kick to Ricky Starks. So, I don't even know if you can call it hard, because I don't know if he really even connected, but he kicked him right out of his shoes. Literally, both of the loafers of Ricky Starks came off when he took that bump. Just great. Ricky Starks. Guys have what I call, or what people call, the it factor when it comes to selling. They can make others look so good selling their moves. And Ricky Starks is one of those. Ricky Starks can sell anything and make anyone look like $1 million at his own expense. And he did that tonight when somehow his shoes popped off. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not, but hey, he's a great seller. Cage and Archer got face-to-face. Taz said, hey, back it up. We're not going to do this now. But they teased those two maybe having a match next week on Dynamite. And we kind of learned what's on the show next week. Kind of didn't, because they kept getting interrupted, and Jim Ross was so confused. We then got a cool video package for the AEW Women's World Championship match at All Out. It's finally been confirmed. Thunder Rosa will be challenging Hikaru Shida. It's champion versus champion, but only the AEW Women's World title is on the line. We even had NWA President Billy Corgan do the voiceover for this match. He said that when he was approached by AEW for the NWA Women's Champion to challenge Shida, he was all for it. He thinks this is a great pairing, a great relationship. And my first thought was, ooh, if we're actually getting AEW working with the NWA, please give us Nick Aldis. Please let us see Nick Aldis on television. It's been too long. So Shivani and Corgan put Thunder Rosa over big in this video package. JR said that Shida was put on this earth to be a pro wrestler. We then saw a slight little contract signing thing. They both signed the contract. Thunder Rosa tried to grab the title. Hikaru Shida snagged it and said, this is mine. Next up, we had the contract signing between Jon Moxley and MJF. MJF entered with his lawyer and his legal team and all of his advisors. He also came out wearing a neck brace and had a walker. Moxley would then come out and get a great reaction from the crowd. Even Jericho put over Jon Moxley and how popular he is. He said this was a great reaction, probably the biggest pop so far. And I forgot to mention, when Jericho came out, these people Didn't miss a beat. They sang that theme song, and Jericho loved it. Hammed it up for sure. But even though I felt like Jericho's response from the fans, from the live crowd, was bigger, he still put over the world champion. He still said, this is why he's one of the most popular guys in AEW. It's the biggest pop we've heard from this crowd all night. It wasn't. His pop was, but that's a professional putting over the world champion as the babyface world champion as the most popular guy in the company. They all sat down at this table and started, talking about All Out. And MJF, unsurprisingly, cut a great promo. MJF said that he's a pro wrestling prodigy who grew up studying guys like Ernie Ladd, Buddy Rogers, while Moxley followed guys like the Sandman, Onita, John Zandig, all garbage wrestlers. MJF then told Moxley, tell that hot little wife of yours to call me since I'm single. I was so waiting for MJF to add on to that line because I know she's available now. It would have just put it over the top and been great, and it would have been a little inside thing that most people would have known. Moxley got out of his seat, and he sat back down because he knew, hey, compose yourself. Moxley got on the mic and said that he wants to use the paradigm shift. He wants to hurt MJF. He wants to cause permanent neck damage. But MJF wants the move banned, and that's possibly even worse for MJF. He told MJF, by banning the paradigm shift, you have now led me to have to get creative. And when I get creative, that means it's more dangerous for you. Moxley didn't sign the contract, but there was a big swerve in the contract that I guess nobody looked at. Moxley goes, hey, we're all good. I'm going to take your stipulation and run with it, but now I get what I want too. Thanks for adding what I wanted on page 17. And MJF is like, wait, what? Page 17, there's only supposed to be 16 pages. Flip. And we realize that the lawyer must face Jon Moxley next week on AEW Dynamite. Yep, that Sterling guy is going to have to wrestle. Get a hype video from Santana and Ortiz. They recapped their feud with Best Friends. They said something along the lines, I didn't catch it fully. I think they said they wished Trent's mom was in the car or the van when they destroyed it. So next up, we got an 8-man tag team match. The Butcher, The Blade, Pentagon, Phoenix, with Eddie Kingston in their corner, taking on Joey Janela, Sonny Kiss, Brian Pillman Jr., and Griff Garrison. I guess AEW is going to really want to use Brian Pillman as much as they can because commentary put him over huge. Put him over as a great up-and-comer. They didn't put him over as a star, but they put him over as somebody that's going to be big possibly soon. Kept comparing him to his dad, saying that he looks great in the ring, that he doesn't do anything wrong, that he just always looks so smooth. And yeah, Pentagon and Phoenix's stereo dives at one point. Pentagon hit Janela with a package pile driver on the apron, and Jericho had to let us know, hey, that's the hardest part of the ring, Siobhan. Pillman then took a bump on his head off of a lariat. Phoenix then hit a springboard double stomp and pinned Brian Pillman, which that's why I said they didn't make him come off as like a star yet, because they still pinned him. But yeah, maybe him and Griff Garrison can get up in them tag team rankings. I know they've been picking up wins on Dark. Eddie Kingston cut a promo after the match, told the fans to shut up and he doesn't care what they think about. He said him or one of his stable members, one of these 5, will be winning that battle royale. So one of them will be walking out victorious, and a win by one of them is a win for all of them. Next up, we got the Brody Lee TNT Championship celebration. The Dark Order came out carrying a casket, and they held a mock funeral for Cody. They opened up the casket. A body was laying in the casket with his head covered. They wanted us to think it was Cody until, well, 10 sat up. Excuse me. Mr. Brody Lee would then come out. They did a less entertaining version of what they do on BTE, and I usually don't find it that funny on BTE anyways. Brody Lee then cut a serious promo. He said the open challenge is over. No more TV time for all those indie geeks. He said Cody, his career is over as well. Natural Nightmares would come out to attack the Dark Order. Dark Order got the best of Dustin and QT, so Scorpio Sky would run down. He got a little better of them before they got the numbers on him, and then Matt Cardona would run out as well and finally clean house as the Dark Order did run away. Mr. Brody Lee then said, "This what you guys want? You want this? This what you want? You're going to get it." So, see, I think it's leading to an 8-man tag at All Out, or maybe maybe next week's show. Again, Jim Ross said it was supposed to be on next week's show. Then the graphic was for All Out, so I assume since the graphic was for All Out, it's at All Out. But we'll get to that in a moment. Dasha then caught up with Hangman Page. She goes, "We're here with Hangman Page, of course, in the bar." She asked about costing the Young Bucks the Gauntlet match earlier tonight. And before he can say anything, he was interrupted by the Bucks. Matt Jackson said all the Bucks ever wanted was for Hangman to be their friend. Nick said that he called Hangman a jobber a long time ago, but didn't mean it. But after what he pulled tonight, maybe Hangman is nothing more than a jobber. Matt said, "We've heard your cries. You've been asking for this since November. You want out of the Elite? Fine. It's over. We're done. Us, done." So they kicked him out of the Elite, but he's still got a team with freaking Kenny at the pay-per-view. Young Bucks storm off before Matt throws the whiskey, I think it was, in the face of Hangman. Hangman then stared into a broken mirror like a comic book villain, finding his origin story. It's like one of those, you got this guy that he always tries to do good, but then one thing sets him off and now he's evil. And that's what I'm feeling with Hangman. I really wish they would have turned Kenny Omega heel instead, because I know the whole plan was always for Hangman to turn heel. But sometimes you gotta divert from the plan, especially when they get over so big like Hangman has with the crowd. I did see some people online go, "A broken mirror. Is he gonna become broken like broken Matt Hardy?" I doubt it. I really doubt it. So next up, we got a handicap match. They billed it as a 3-way, but it was really only a 2-way. It was Big Swole versus Britt Baker, even though she couldn't wrestle yet, Penelope Ford, and Reba. And I think it was JR goes, "Wait, is it Reba or Rebel? What do we call her?" And Jericho goes, It's Reba. You never go against what a doctor says." I loved that. So Baker cut a promo for the match that was actually pretty good. Basically said that, "I'm confident in my girls. I'm confident in all of us beating you, Big Swole. So that means, so because of that, if you can defeat them tonight, I'll give you a match of any kind. Any match you want to choose, you versus me at All Out," which we knew that was a direction. Britt stayed in her wheelchair. Ford picked up Swole and almost dropped her right on her head. Didn't look good. Rebel or Reba or whatever, and Ford worked over Swole for a moment. Reba's offense never looks good, and it didn't look good here tonight. I think she needs to go back to Full Throttle Saloon and be a dancer there, because she plays well when she's not wrestling. She's a good on-screen character. I'll give her that. Rebel is a very good on-screen character, but wrestling, I just don't know. Maybe she needs to go back and be a Full Throttle rock star girl up there in Sturgis, Full Throttle Saloon. Ford. Oh no, I read that one already. Where was I? Chris Sabian distracted the referee, and Baker threw a crutch into Reba. Reba hit Ford with the crutch by accident, and it missed by a mile. We were supposed to think she hit her, and she sold it like she hit her, but it just wasn't good. Swole then pinned Penelope Ford, won the match, where Baker threw a tantrum, and Swole basically like, I got you. Also, why didn't Rebel take the pin? Penelope Ford's somebody that they've been trying to highlight. Why didn't she get the pin? It's not like Rebel or Reba, whatever you want to call her, is somebody that they're going to push eventually or ever as a wrestler. She's always just going to be with Britt Baker, I assume. The next up, we got the lineup for next week and All Out-ish. Next week, Moxley. I wrote Cody for some reason. Moxley will be taking on MJF's lawyer. Santana and Ortiz will be taking on the Best Friends. Chris Jericho will be taking on Joey Janela. And then, in an interesting turn of events, which I don't know if I should, wrong words to use. In a match that makes no sense for a match that makes in a match that makes sense for a match that doesn't make sense. Got an 8-man tag next week. Private Party will team with SCU. The Young Bucks will team with Jurassic Express. Then, whichever team wins faces each other at All Out. Faces each other at All Out for what? For what? Just to get on the pay-per-view? Fuck, put them in the Battle Royale. No, you don't want the Bucks in a random Battle Royal. So now we're probably going to get the Bucks and Jurassic Express winning just to get the Bucks versus Jurassic Express. Like, we haven't seen that in a different iterations a bunch of times. How many times have we seen the Bucks versus Jurassic Express, or the Bucks and Kenny versus Jurassic Express? Or it's not needed. It's just a match to do a match to get guys on the pay-per-view. I think we also learned that there's going to be an 8-man tag team match at the pay-per-view as well. The Natural Nightmares, Matt Cardona and Scorpio Sky taking on the Dark Order. Again, that was the one that they were confused by because as in the middle, who fucking booked this show or this segment? In the middle of them announcing these matches, all of a sudden they go, Anna Jay's here with some members of the Dark Order, and we don't know why, so we'll come back to this in a second. She recruits Ty Conti for the Dark Order. Ty Conti accepts, and then they go, well, back to what we were doing. Like, what? That made absolutely no sense for her to come out in the middle of this and not after. Because JR was just so confused and barely composed himself. Got his composure back after that. I don't know why they needed to do that in the middle of this segment. Like, I don't know if she came out early and so they just went with it, or if she was supposed. I don't know. I didn't like that. So going forward, we had one more match on tonight's show. It was a tables match. It was Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara. Two basically just killed each other. There was like 7 minutes left in the show. Like the last 15, 20 minutes of this show was badly timed out. It was like somebody must have went long and they had to just rush stuff because this match did seem rushed. It even went through a commercial break, I believe. So they're fighting. We go to commercial break. When we come back, both guys are busted open. We saw that happen during the picture-in-picture. Hardy missed an elbow off the apron and went through a table. And Jericho had to tell us, Matt Hardy went through a table, but because Sammy, didn't put him through the table, it doesn't mean Sammy wins and Matt loses. So, cool. An offensive move wasn't used to put someone through the table. Hardy then set Guevara up on a table and teased a top rope leg drop. Guevara cut him off and hit a superplex through the table for the victory. Again, Sammy Guevara had like a gash on the side of his head, bleeding really bad. It was like thick blood too. So I don't know if he got busted open in the wrong spot or something, but it was thick blood. Like it was just like you could see all the blood, but it was so thick that it wouldn't trickle down. And he was bleeding a little on his face too. These guys killed themselves for like a 7-minute match, which is like, why? Why not do this at the pay-per-view where you can give them more time? I just don't know. As the show's going off air, all of a sudden you hear, whoa, and Jim Ross is like, oh, Tony, we need to get out of here. And he's like, yeah, we do. Their little backdrop falls behind commentary, and I guess Orange Cassidy ran in and attacked Jericho, and they brawl as the show goes off the air. Really see Orange Cassidy for, 20 seconds? Again, the last 15 minutes of the show, rushed. We had to get the commercials in as well. had to get this match in, and the brawl that actually didn't happen, we didn't see. So that's something I didn't like, that how rushed this was. We're supposed to see Orange Cassidy attacking Jericho, barely got it in before the show had to go off the air, and that was Dynamite. Again, a newsworthy show, a dang good show, but just some flops at the end as far as things being rushed. Again, I don't know if maybe the show was timed incorrectly, which our shows are usually timed really good, so I assume maybe somebody went over their time. Could have been that Dark Order segment. I don't know. But we'll see. That was AEW Dynamite. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting your thoughts to 510-906-1341. This person here says, do you think FTR will win it all out? And do you see either Hangman or Omega turning heel? Well, got to be Hangman, because they basically showed us that tonight. Person says, the show on Stars, that steam in the middle of filming, is called Heels. Correct, I know. They're starting production called Heels. It's about pro wrestling. Stephen Amell wants Cody on the show. Cody does want to do more acting. And so that's why Cody's going to be gone for a little bit. I don't know when Cody's going to be back, but I would assume once he's done with whatever he's going to do on this show. And this text message here states, if it'll load. Come on. Well, I want to load. Let me refresh it, guys. Give me 1 second. It will not load. Trying to get this text message in. Give me 1 more second, guys. All right, this text message here does state, you see Matt Cardona a few times now in AEW. After the pay-per-view, do you think they sign him to a full-time contract so we can see him more regularly? I don't know. I know his deal was for 5 appearances. I don't know if tonight counts as an appearance or if the 5 appearances are 5 matches. But as far as I know, Matt Cardona has not signed any sort of deal to be within AEW long-term. So with that, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's AEW review. I do want to say thank you guys for joining me here on twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. If you missed any of this review or any of our previous reviews, you can always catch those on our YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. You can all follow us on other social media platforms like Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. You can follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and you can follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. And remember, follow our website for all the late breaking news. We will be live again tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. We'll be back here on Sunday night for Payback. And then we'll start it all over again next Monday. So with that, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.